Aloha. Aloha. Namaste. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for inviting me to join you.
We got to stop fighting a battle where our enemy is wearing brass knuckles and we're carrying a pillow. It's time to knuckle up.
I noticed that
the Democratic primary is on February 3rd. It's on February 3rd, 2020, so it's a year away, but still, that's right around the corner. So we need to talk about this. You got Julian Castro, Kirsten Gillibrand, Tulsi Gabbard, Elizabeth Warren, John Delaney, and Richard Ojeda.
Legislatively, you would be pro-choice.
You know, I've always said pro-life, but once again, we've allowed them to take that term away from us. You know, they're not pro-life, they're pro-birth. They do away with the programs to feed the child, to educate the child, to clothe the child. You know, I want to...
Republican that out fundraises him 3-1 and who also gets every commercial on Wheel of Fortune, and in the end, it becomes the lesser of two evil. And that's what we've got. You know, it's always been, well, it's always just the lesser of two evil.
Reduction in abortion, but the truth is, every Republican is pro-life until the mistress gets pregnant. I bet you Donald Trump knows a little something about that.
What's your stance on immigration?
I support DACA, and I want a pathway to citizenship. That's exactly what I want.
These are the big people who have announced their candidacy for president. These are the only ones that have been brave enough to say, hey, I'm running for president. So where are you, Bernie? Where are you? I don't hear anything from you. When it comes to the candidates that I give any fucks about, Elizabeth Warren, Tulsi Gabbard, and Richard Ojeda. These are the people to look for. John Delaney, he's Mr. Bipartisanship. Gillibrand, she's Miss White Woman, blue-eyed, blonde hair. Hey, guys, can I play too? I don't know, the whole country's been, anyways, Julian Castro, not very exciting. They're kind of moderates too, so the progressives. Tulsi Gabbard is a progressive, Elizabeth Warren is a progressive, Richard Ojeda is definitely a progressive.
You know, I believe in, I want to see a reduction. I would quadruple the funding to Planned Parenthood without a doubt.
Something that all 6 of these Democratic candidates believe in is Medicare for all. So universal health care. They believe that health care is a human right, and especially an American right. In the land of plenty, you're going to let people go sick. You're going to let people go sick. What happens if they cough on you? Well, then you're going to get fucking sick, you stupid fucks. The whole country, the whole world, the whole goddamn world, the industrialized world has universal health care. Belarus has universal health care. Estonia, Romania.
If a person doesn't have any mental health issues in their background, they're not a criminal. You know, I don't have a problem with them being able to purchase a firearm like that.
How about bump stocks?
You need to be responsible for your guns. If you own a gun and you allow that gun to fall into the hands of somebody that has mental health issues or a child and they use it, then you're responsible for it.
Here's a little bit of Richard Ojeda, okay? So Richard Ojeda has been a Republican his entire life. He voted for Donald Trump in 2016. He voted for Republicans his whole life. So Mitt Romney, whoever the other Republicans have been. So he's a straight shooter. However, Richard Ojeda is absolutely right with how you have to go at Donald in order to win the presidency. You cannot just ignore him. You have to fight him tit for tat. You have to, anything he says, you got to say something right back.
Just tactically, the way you've addressed Donald Trump, there are some people, there are almost 2 camps who say a lot of people ignored him in the midterm elections. They believe that worked. Just talk about the economy, talk about health care. And then there's another camp that says in 2020, you've just got to be combative. You got to play Trump's game. You got to fight the way he fights, get in the mud with him. What would be your approach to the president?
Now, I'm going to say I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight. But we're not going to be able to beat this guy by being nice. You know, he's not nice. The Republican Party's not nice. You know, it's like we got to stop fighting a battle where our enemy is wearing brass knuckles and we're carrying a pillow. It's time to knuckle up.
I noticed that.
So Richard Ojeda, just take a look at his platform. Listen to his ideas. I think he's one of the most progressive people in the race, and he's a straight talker. So he hates big pharma. He's for the Green New Deal, and the Green New Deal, where'd that rhetoric come from? Okay, thanks Jill Stein. Nobody is saying thanks Jill Stein for the Green New Deal.
So the NRA sometimes is opposed to having serial numbers on the weapons or allowing for fingerprint technology. that would only allow the owner of the gun to use it. Or in fact, in some cases, they're against outlawing armor-piercing bullets that were also known as cop killers. What's your stance on those?
Yeah, I think that the NRA is absolute garbage. Let me tell you something. I am proud to have an F rating from the NRA.
So he hates Big Pharma. He says that Beto O'Rourke takes the most money from energy folks, but that's actually number 2. Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz takes the most money from the energy folks. Beto O'Rourke is number 2 when it comes to being bought and sold by the oil and gas companies. He's from West Virginia. He's West Virginian. He was saying that in West Virginia that Bernie Sanders won all 55 counties.
So as state senator of Virginia, West Virginia, you backed a free and fair elections resolution from Wolfpack. Why did you do that?
Well, you know, it's about, I want to support getting big money out of politics. You know, I think that's absolutely crucial. Even at the state levels, we see how money is controlling everything.
Yes, and you were co-sponsor of that, and I wanted people to know that, and I think that's really important.
I mean, Hillary did say she's going to shut the coal mines down. Stupid. She is dumb. And what a shitty candidate. Jesus fucking Christ. It's been 2 years. Have you Democrats figured out who's, you know, you're not going to put it, don't tell. Okay.
So now I'm going to keep it real with you, though. You know, it's easy to say you're pro-life, and it seems like you're at least consistent about your position on that. But if you're saying in legislation you would allow the women to choose, legislatively you would be pro-choice.
You know, I've always said pro-life, but once again, we've allowed them to take that term away from us. You know, they're not pro-life, they're pro-birth. They do away with the programs to feed the child, to educate the child, to clothe the child. You know, I want to see a reduction in abortion, but I will tell you that, you know, I do not like telling a woman what she can do with her body, and I will support her right to choose.
So he wants someone to check Big Pharma. He's against lobbyists. He's against, you know, taking all this money from all these rich millionaire people. He's for Medicare for all. That's something that unites every single one of these candidates. They are all for Medicare for all. He's for campaign finance reform. He wants to get money out of politics. He's for body cameras for lobbyists. So that's fucking radical as fuck. He's saying that the lobbyists need to have a camera on them, and then when they go into a room talking to a congressman, that entire interaction is recorded for the public, so that way everybody knows exactly what the hell is going on in Washington, D.C.
So how about the issue of healthcare? Some folks are saying let's just patch up Obamacare. Some are saying public option or a Medicare option, and of course there's also Medicare for all, which would be single payer. So what are you in favor of?
I'm for Medicare for all, but it means everyone, to include Congress, to include Senate, to include the president. No more golden plan. They get the bronze package like the rest of us do.
But in your anti-corruption stance, you say that if you're going to go into Congress, you have to give away all of your money except for $1 million. So you have to give it away to charity. So where are you going to put all of your millions of dollars?
Well, I don't have millions of dollars. You know, the average family income where I'm from is $44,000. So telling somebody that they get a retirement of $130,000 with a cap of $250,000 is phenomenal, because nobody has that anywhere where I come from. Middle America, the average citizen out there does not have nothing like that.
How about guns? I know that in West Virginia, you've got a different situation than you do maybe in some of the bigger cities in the country, et cetera. So what's your view on guns?
I support the Second Amendment, but I throw the NRA paperwork in the trash. I don't need to be a member of the He-Man Woman Haters Club to support the Second Amendment. You know, I want to do away with the loopholes in gun shows. You know, I don't have a problem with background checks.
Okay, how about AR-15s?
AR-15s, you know, when it comes to something like that, I'll be honest with you, I want one. Okay, I will tell you this, that, you know, I think that mental health is a major issue that we have. We got to remove the stigma of mental health. But, I believe I want to see a reduction. I would quadruple the funding to Planned Parenthood without a doubt.
What are Democrats doing wrong? Why is that? And what's the disconnect between, blue collar working folks in America and the Democratic Party?
Well, I love this question. And I will tell you, I've said this quite a few times. The Democratic Party got away from what being a Democrat was. But here's another thing that they do, and the mistake that they've made, is they placed it on money. It's about, you got two people running for office, and this guy right here has the most money, and this person here doesn't. But this person here is hungry. They'll knock on every door. They can relate to the people. But the only thing that the Democratic Party was thinking of is, but this person has the most money. So they automatically jump on board with this person. And in the event, in the end, the person who doesn't have the most money ends up being drowned out. But then you have the Democrat with the most money running against the Republican that out fundraises him 3-1, and who also gets every commercial on Wheel of Fortune. And in the end, it becomes the lesser of two evil. And that's what we've got. You know, it's always been, well, it's always just the lesser of two evil.
All right, Senator Ojeda, let's talk about your policy planks, though. Where are you on the issue of choice?
I believe in a woman's right to choose. I say that I'm pro-life because I want to see a reduction in abortion. But the truth is, every Republican is pro-life until the mistress gets pregnant. I bet you Donald Trump knows a little something about that.
You started your campaign with a message against corruption. For people that did not see that, what is what you're calling the first pillar of your campaign?
Well, it's about, doing away with all the pigs at the trough. We've got people here that, they say that they are going to serve the people. But in reality, they become congressmen, they become senators. And after 1 or 2 terms, they're worth millions upon millions of dollars. They go in there and they legislate themselves to wealth.
We got to stop fighting a battle where our enemy is wearing brass knuckles and we're carrying a pillow. It's time to knuckle up.
I noticed that. Okay, well, that's clear. Okay, one more on gun control. Bump stocks.
No need in them.
So I think those are interesting clips for a number of reasons.
What's your stance on immigration?
I support DACA, and I want a pathway to citizenship. That's exactly what I want.
Legislatively, you would be pro-choice.
I've always said pro-life, but once again, we've allowed them to take that term away from us. They're not pro-life, they're pro-birth. They do away with the programs to feed the child, to educate the child, to clothe the child. I want to, and that's exactly what they do. I absolutely am against that wholeheartedly. They go there and they focus more on doing for those lobbyists. Because those lobbyists are the ones that are kind of dangling the carrot in front of them, and they're going for it every time. That's got to stop. We need to get rid of the backdoor dealings that go on. That's why I said I'd like to see body cameras on every single lobbyist, and would make it to where they weren't allowed to mingle around in the hallways. They can only come to the Capitol for specific meetings, and then the people could actually, type in their representative and watch those actual meetings take place.